Good morning, everyone. This is Pradeep, Ambassador of Change from GETI, the Global Educational Training Institute from Lucknow. We're the premier institute in India for training teachers, and we have trained all over the world. Right now, you are on our disruptive educational platform provided to us by our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And on this platform, we have met with and interacted with more than 1,600 educators from India and all over the world. And today we have for you Professor Abha Sharma. She is the principal in SCERT from Delhi. She has 22 years of experience. She has done an MSc, an MEd, an MBA in HR, a PhD in educational psychology and technology. She's a gold medalist in the BEd and MEd, and she's a professor and assistant dean. She was at the School of Education and head planning of the GD Goenka University, Gurgaon. She has presented more than 50 papers, articles, and book chapters, which are published in national and international journals of repute. She has participated and presented papers in more than 50 national, international workshops, conferences, etc. And she has more than 22 years of experience, as already said, in conducting interactive sessions as keynote speaker, resource person in national and international conferences and seminars. She is an expert for Tuning India project with the University of Deusto, Bilbao in Spain, and research expert for Rishi project with the with that same university. She's of the European Union. Somaprabha Education Channel of the MHRD, the Government of India for BEd program. He is a district nodal officer for Vidyanjali, a school volunteer program of MOE, Government of India. He is a nodal academic authority at the district level Southeast for School Transformation and Enrichment program of SCERT. He received the Best National Paper Award in international conferences in 2017 and 2018 and was awarded the Goodwill Ambassador from the IHRO, New Delhi in 2018. Professor Sharma received an Inspirational Leadership Award from Global Talk Education Foundation in 2021, and she won the Award of Excellence in Social Service in the state of Haryana by Navjyoti India Foundation again in 2021. Professor Sharma also received an Education Icon Award in Star Rating Annual Conference in 2022. So welcome, ma'am. And she will be speaking to us today on realizing the power of self-regulation. So thank you, ma'am, for being with us, and over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. Grateful to GETI for this opportunity. And I'll start with a little poem by Clarence Edwin Flynn. Life handed him a lemon, as life sometimes will do. His friends looked on in pity, assuming he was through. They came upon him later, reclining in the shade, in a calm contentment, drinking a glass of lemonade. Greetings, everyone. My name is Professor Abha, and I thank you all for joining this session of Realizing the Power of Self-Regulation. So to start with, how come I can manage the slide here? Yes. To start with, I'll keep a situation in front of you. If you have taken a resolution during the pandemic or maybe after the pandemic of keeping yourself pretty much healthy or fit, you have started going to the gym every morning, but one day, due to some urgent work in the morning, you rescheduled your workout for the evening. And that day, you skipped your lunch and you were pretty much hungry, but you thought that after the workout you will have some soup or later the dinner with the family. But that is a big but. While going to the gym on the way, you find a tempting aroma of coming out from a pizza outlet, and besides that was a kind of bakery having all the variants of mouth-watering chocolate cakes. What will you do? What will you do? Think of what will you do? See, after the observation, I have seen that many of the people think that let's have one slice of pizza, or few may think that no, not pizza. Let me have a kind of a cupcake or a chocolate cake, or few may think that it's okay to have a cheat day some other other day. Let's have a little of pizza and some of the cake today. So this is a mixed kind of feeling. Maybe if you are having some other types of feelings. So through this session, I will take you to the journey where the process of how we can convert the challenges or the hurdles chance to prove out of those challenges by realizing the power of our behavior and our emotions. Moving to the definition of self regulation, Zimmerman defines self regulation as the self generated thoughts, feelings, and actions that are planned and clinically, cyclically adopted to the attainment of personal learning goals. So, in summary, we can say that self regulation is the ability to monitor and manage our energy states, emotions, thoughts, behaviors in a way that they are acceptable and they produce the positive results such as well being, loving relationships, and definitely the learning. Now, let us move to the difference between the behavioral self regulation, the emotional self regulation. See, the behavioral self regulation is the ability to act in your long term best interests that are consistent with your deepest values. And it is what allows us to feel one way but act in another way. And if you have ever dreaded getting up and going to work in the morning, but convinced yourself to do it anyway after remembering your goals, the goals may be a raise or a promotion, or your basic needs, maybe the food or the shelter, you displayed effective behavioral self regulation. Now, moving to the self emotional self regulation, that involves the control of, or at least influence over your emotions. If you had ever talked yourself out of a bad mood or calmed yourself down when you were angry, you were displaying effective emotional self regulation. Now, there is a theory behind the self-regulation, and it simply outlines the process and components involved when we decide what to think, feel, say, and do. So it is particularly salient in the context of making a healthy choice when we have a strong desire to do the opposite, that is, refraining from eating an entire pizza just because it tastes yummy. So, according to the modern self regulatory technique expert Roy Baumeister, there are four components involved. And these four components are, standards of desirable behavior, furthermore, the motivation to meet the standards. In addition to this, monitoring of situations and thoughts that precedes breaking standards. And lastly, the willpower allowing one's internal strength to control the urges. Now, these four components interact to determine our self regulatory activity at a given moment. And according to this theory, our behavior is determined by our personal standards of good behavior and our motivation to meet those standards, the degree to which we are consciously aware of our circumstances and our actions, and the extent of our willpower to resist temptations and choose the best path. Now, the psychology of self regulation by Bandura that says that we need to, that is self-regulation is a continuously active process in which we monitor our own behavior, the influence on our behavior, and the consequences of our behavior. We also judge our behavior in relation to our own personal standards and broader, more contextual standards. We also react to our own behavior, that is what we think and how we feel about our behavior. Along with that, now the question arises, how self-regulation helps in learning. So basically, self-regulation learning refers to the process a student engages in when she or he takes the responsibility of his or her own learning and applies that to the academic success. So this process happens in three steps: uh, planning, monitoring, and reflection. The planning or the forethought, that is, a student plans their tasks, they set the goals, they outline strategies to tackle the task, and or they create a schedule for the task. Now, the moving ahead to the monitoring of the performance. So the monitoring, in this stage, the student put their plans into action and they closely monitor their performance and their experience with the methods they choose. The last is the reflection phase, and finally, after the task is complete and the results are in, the students reflect on how well he or she did and why she performed the way she did. Now, when the students take initiative and regulate their own learning, they get and they gain the deeper insights into how they learn, what works best for them, and ultimately they perform at a higher level. So, this improvement springs from the mainly opportunities to learn during each phase. In the planning phase, students have the opportunity to work on their self assessment and learn how to pick the best strategies for the success. Then, in the monitoring phase, students get the experience implementing the strategies they chose and making real time adjustment to their plans as needed. And in the reflection phase, students synthesize everything they have learned and reflect on their experience, learning what works for them and what should be altered or replaced with a new strategy. Now, what actually happens if there's no choice making the challenges into the opportunities, or the lemonade out of the lemon, if I say, uh, again and again, you will feel exhausted at some point of time. And however, there are many examples of successful self-regulatory behavior, even when the individuals are fatigued from the constant self-regulation. So the examples include, a cashier who stays polite and calm when an angry customer is behaving not good for something he has no control over, maybe, or um, a child who refrains from throwing a tantrum when she or he is told she cannot have the toy, or that she desperately wants. Now, switching to a few more examples of self-regulatory behavior. See a couple who is in a heated argument about something that is important to both of them, deciding to take some time to cool off before continuing their discussion, instead of devolving into yelling and name calling. A student maybe a student who is tempted to join her friends for a fun night out but instead decides to stay in to study for the tomorrow's examination. A man trying to lose weight meets a friend at a restaurant and sticks with the healthy options, maybe menu, instead of ordering one of his favorite high calorie dishes. As you can see, self-regulation covers a wide range of behaviors from the minute-to-minute choices to the larger, or you can say the more significant decisions that can have a significant impact on whether we meet our goals. Now, speaking of self-regulation and the motivation to succeed. So, speaking of pursuing our goals, we can also entwine with few of the motivational things. So, motivation is one of the core component of self-regulation, and it is one factor that determines how well we are able to regulate our emotions and behaviors. So, you can say an individual's level of motivation to succeed in his or her endeavors is directly related to his performances. And even if he has the best of intentions, well laid plans, and extraordinarily willpower, he will likely to fail if he's not motivated to regulate his behavior and avoid the temptation to slack off or set his goals aside for another day. The more motivated we are to achieve our goals, the more capable we are to strive towards them. And this impacts our well being by filling us with a sense of purpose, competence, and definitely the self esteem, especially when we are able to meet our goals. Now, let us now discuss about the effective regulation of emotions. The elevating effects of the effective regulations of emotion in the face of the challenges. What can working individuals do to rate the negative consequences which flow from them? Now, the psychologists refer to emotion regulation as the process of initiating, or you can say maintaining and modifying one's emotional experience and expression. It is important to recognize and appreciate the power of emotion regulation in the face of challenging times, say, for example, the current destructive and the COVID times which we have crossed now. Now, moving ahead to the effective regulation of emotions that reduces the negative emotions and enhances the self well being, also. So, this is actually crucial to reduce the negative emotions and, to enhance the well being both within and outside the work. So, in one of the study of 260 employed students, researchers have found that employed young adults utilize the several emotional regulation strategies to manage their negative emotions, like seeking and reaching out to others to make them feel good, keeping oneself busy, or you can involve yourself working on other things. You can involve yourself in some hobbies. You can engage in enjoyable activities to improve one's mood and attempting to solve a kind of a problem. However, they also identified an important difference between the most commonly and the least commonly reported strategies. The and Now, more than ever, it was important for the individuals to become adaptable and agile to, you can say, with their careers. And in order to do so, however, the individuals needs to draw on both their cognitive abilities and their emotional skills to effectively adjust and respond to the career challenges in the events. So researchers basically which focuses on the career ability suggests that effective emotion regulation supports the workers' capacity to prepare for and to cope with an uncertain and changing job market. Now, if we say specifically, emotion regulation may increase the employee's motivation and willingness to plan for their career, and you can take the responsibility of their careers and the work experiences and explore their environment for opportunity. Additionally, effective regulation of emotions can also lead to greater confidence in mastering the challenges associated with one's careers. Uh, Moving ahead, Yes, so this is the effective regulation that facilitates the work family balance. See, the effective regulation of emotions can also counter some of the adverse effect of family work overload on employees' work effectiveness and psychological well being. You would have definitely gone through this during the pandemic. And first, the ability to resist emotional distractions and impulses generally enables the individuals to focus and sorry and persist in pursuing difficult goals and recover from emotionally damaging tasks. Now, second, the emotion regulation has many social benefits as it facilitates the positive social interactions and enhances the relationship quality. For instance, you can say that the emotion regulation cultivates empathy, compassion, and having the behavior towards others. So now the question is how to regulate ourselves during the challenging times and how to make the lemon again the opportunities when the life offers us lemon. So, what can I do? There are many skills and the techniques of making or converting the challenges into the opportunities. The first one is mindfulness, then is cultivating the skill of mindfulness which will improve your ability to maintain your moment to moment awareness, which in turn helps you delay the gratification and manage your emotions. And also, this is substantiated by the research that has shown that mindfulness is very effective at boosting one's conscious control over the tension and helping people regulate the negative emotions and improving the executive functioning. Being open to the challenge or the change, the challenging yourself to deal with change in a straightforward, we can say, and a positive manner, and working to improve your ability to adopt to something or somewhere in a different situation while staying very much positive. Now, leading and living with integrity, being a good role model, practicing what you preach, creating trusting environments, and living in alignment with your values, you will definitely take the path of the success. Now, identifying your triggers, how to cope up with the triggers, again, cultivating a sense of self awareness that will help you learn what your strengths and weaknesses are and what actually can trigger you into a difficult state of mind. Sometimes situation comes when you lose your temperament, so you need to practice some self-discipline things, committing to taking initiative and staying persistent in working towards your goals, even when it's the last thing you feel like doing. Then is reframing the negative thoughts, working on your ability to take a step back from your own thoughts and feelings, analyze them. You can also come up with some positive alternative thoughts. Keeping calm under the pressure, keeping keeping yourself cool by removing yourself from the situation, from a you can say for a short term, whether mentally or physically, and using the relaxation techniques like deep breathing, meditation, and many more. Also considering the consequences, so stopping and thinking about the consequences of giving into kind of a bad behavior. Maybe example, like if I quote what happened in the past, what is likely to happen now, what this behavior could trigger in terms of a longer term consequences. So kind of a unproductive thinking which many of us have a habit of doing. Next is believing in yourself. Yes. So boosting your self efficacy by working on your self confidence, focusing on the experiences in your life when you succeeded, and keeping your mistake in perspective. So choose to believe in your own abilities and surround yourself with the positive, supportive people. Uh, if I move ahead with the cognitive reasoning, reappraisal. So this strategy can be described as a conscious effort to change your thought patterns. And this is one of the main goals of cognitive based therapies, which we generally call as CBT. So to build our cognitive reappraisal skills, you will need to work on changing and reframing your thoughts when you encounter a difficult situation, and you need to adopt a more adaptive perspective to your situation, which will definitely help you find a silver lining and help you manage your all the emotion regulations and keep the negative emotions at bay. Now, what is if we move ahead to the next slide, that is on positive self-talk. So, if we just a second. So, whenever we are sitting quietly, we need to see that whether what we are saying to ourselves, whether we are saying, no, I'll not be able to do that, or I may fail, this is very difficult, how come I will move there? It's gone dark, it's too difficult to go ahead. Instead of talking like that, we can give the positive self talk that will promote self love, that will help to cope with stress, that will definitely build the confidence, improves the attitudes, that will allow for taking the risks. That is very important, and that way we can succeed. uh, Another very much important is how you can go inside with the intentional nurturing of self. So this is again very important, that if you can't go outside, you go inside. This was a tagline in pandemic we have seen. So you need to meditate and you need to see what's inside you to improve yourself, to nurture yourself, and that's the way you can see the beauty of your inner self. Then, yes, then so along with this, there are many more strategies like self-expression, the self you can express with the help of art, you can express with the help of music, dance, writing, caring and nurturing the self-talk, then laughing, telling the jokes, exchanging the things with the friends or the peers, then it's very important to understand what actually you inside. So thank you very much. These are a few of the references. Thank you for the time and the patience listening. Thank you.
So thank you for the talk, Abha ma'am, and on realizing the power of self-regulation. Uh, Very required today, uh, especially with all our liberal attitudes that we have. Uh, we tend, especially for the younger ones, we tend to spoil them. And this is something which is very much required if you want to get ahead in life in any way. So thank you, everybody, and good afternoon. See you again soon. Um, Thank you, ma'am, once again.
Thank you. Entirely my
And
privilege. Thank you.